Oh boy, do we have a fun one today. I was so excited when my buddies at Garrett reached out and said they wanted to ship me a turbo, and not just any turbo, a 98mm bad to the bone GTX5533R Gen 2 turbo, the same one that Mark Mickey recently used to knock the Earth off its axis and run a 3.62 second, like 220 mile an hour lap down in Valdosta, Georgia. But I digress. I tell you, this box is fairly heavy. I think it says like 37 pounds, almost 40 pounds. Throw this bad boy down here. It's what's an F1 car doing on here? It's kind of cool. I spoke to the engineers at Garrett, and it's fun to talk to them about the fact that their engineering efforts, they're not limited. Garrett has their hands in unbelievable amount of different things when it comes to motorsports. Formula One teams, Porsche, 4GT, Toyota Le Mans. I have to believe, and we've talked about this quite a bit, how all that technology and all those efforts, they kind of trickle around. It's not necessarily a trickle down. It's just that you learn a little here and you apply it there, and you learn a little here and you apply it there. So it's very interesting, and I guess that's probably why there's a Formula One car on the box here. But I got to get it out of the way. Oh my goodness, this thing, it's a monster. I'm so glad they didn't send me like a baby turbo. They sent me a big bad boy. And again, 98mm monster turbo, but it's really, when you start to talk about the fact that this thing weighs like 37 pounds and it's got some meat on its bones, that really all goes back to Garrett's focus on safety. I talked to their engineers at length. Over an hour we spent on the phone, and it was crazy how much we talked about safety. Safety is top priority with these people, and it's always this delicate balance of everybody wants to go fast, make big power, talk about all these crazy numbers or whatever, but you can't do any of those things if you don't have, the confidence you have a really safe product. Racing is dangerous enough, and I don't know, personally, I was really warmed my heart a little bit to hear the engineers at Garrett take so much pride in their containment efforts. I actually love saying it. Their efforts to take care of burst and containment. And I'm going, wow, it's amazing. And if you really take a deep dive into it, the efforts that go into that with their testing, it all goes back to the reason this thing is. It's not just big because it makes a lot of power. It's big because it's super safe, and they take great pride. The whole team at Garrett, every person that I talk to, it's like excellent durability, and I just felt it was cool that durability is paramount amongst this group of people. I talked about Mark Mickey right off the bat because he recently knocked the Earth off its axis, like I said, and set a world record down in Valdosta, Georgia. But there are many names that are associated with this turbocharger: Josh Kluger, Charlie Cooper, Marty Stennett, Steve Summers, Dave Adkins, Carl Stevens, Rick Horde. They're all people that are using various sizes of this turbo, the GTX5533. So basically, what we're talking about here is a turbo that's going to support up to 2,500 horsepower, and we could take a little bit more of an in-depth look at how they develop those horsepower numbers, and it's actually a fairly complicated thing to understand, but the big takeaway here is when you take 2,500 and you times it by 2, that's 5,000, and that's a whole lot of horsepower. Holy cow. Of course, right out front here, you're going to notice this 13-blade GTX Gen 2 compressor wheel, fully machined, forged, built aluminum. You'll also notice these compressor housings are equipped with a fully machined speed sport sensor right up here, super nice. Of course, V-band compressor housing outlet, 6-inch compressor housing inlet, T6 and V-band turbine housing options that are available on this bad boy. I know they sent that over in the notes. I want to make sure that I mentioned it. We also flipped this thing over, and I want to make sure that we highlight. Here we go, 16mm dual ceramic ball bearing cartridge. This is optimal turbo response and reliability. It goes back to what we were talking about. It's something that Garrett's very proud of. I listened for a long time as they were telling me all these stories about guys coming up to them at trade shows that have been using turbos for years and years and years, and it all speaks to the effort that goes in to make these turbos reliable. And with this particular unit, a big part of that starts with a 16mm dual ceramic ball bearing cartridge. As much fun as it is to manhandle these awesome go-fast goods, I have to say that it's really the conversations that I've had with the Garrett engineers over the course of the last few weeks that continue to resonate with me. The effort to achieve extreme performance but maintain equally extreme, excellent durability, and their efforts to make these products safe. That's really what resonates with me here. This thing's awesome, and I think I'm going to keep spinning this wheel all day.